everybody, rev up your engines and buckle up for the 7th episode of Riding in Cars with Real Estate, Realtor Mom Edition, not Bomb Edition, because,
no, not bomb.
But we are bomb moms.
Yeah.
I mean, my name is Marty Fink, loan officer, branch manager, powered by Homespire Mortgage, coming to you from my husband's Mercedes-Benz.
Very nice, too.
It smells good. Buckle up and let's ride the waves of real estate success together. I'm thrilled to introduce Alison Creamer. Alison hails from the great city of Norfolk and currently resides in Virginia Beach. She brings her clients a wealth of experience and knowledge about our community, especially when it comes to military PCSing, purchases, or listings. Alison's approach is all about care and education, ensuring that her clients are well supported throughout the process. As she likes to say, she sells like a mother.
Right.
When she's not navigating the real estate market, you can find Alison spending time with her family, growing her own food, and perfecting her recipes, both new and old. She's a devoted wife and mother of 2 children. Alison's passion for real estate doesn't stop with her clients. She also meets up with other professionals for Coffee with Creamer. I love that so much. Where they connect, share insights, and grow together. Her obsession with real estate truly shines through in everything that she does. Let's give Alison Creamer, I love it. Let's give Alison Creamer from eXp Realty in Hampton Roads a revved up welcome to the ride. Woo!
Thank you.
I'm going to dive into the first question.
Okay.
So my favorite thing that you said when we talked the other day over the phone was you said, you sell like a mother.
Yeah.
I really
resonated.
I love that. I thought it was great. I thought it was really, really great. So here's the question. So you said that you sell like a mother, which I love. Can you share how being a mom influences your real estate style, and what aspects of the home buying process do you focus on of that mom perspective?
Yeah. So that title was actually given to me by a young millennial client who was referred by somebody else. And when we got done with the transaction, she said, well, I told my friend you sell like a mom and he had to use you. And I got to thinking, well, what did I do? Because I don't feel like I sell anything. I just, but I recognized that when I went through the house, helping her look at it through protective eyes, helping her look at it through future opportunity, really helping her and understand that we were trying to find the best for her like a mom would do.
Building that trust.
Yeah. And it just came naturally. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get to be a mom till I was 40. And so I watched all my sisters grow up with their children. I did not like children.
Nope.
I was okay being like the auntie, but it was not my thing. Mm. But it was really interesting when I had my own, and that you just want the best for them. And you also don't want to you don't want that phone call when they're in trouble.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So I don't want my clients calling me later. Not that I don't want them calling me, but for things that I could have prevented. Mm-hmm. And so it really turned.
And on the other side too, you do want them to call you first.
For happiness, for joy, but also for trust. You're right.
Right. And guidance. Mm-hmm. They might need guidance. Like with children, if they get stuck somewhere and they need
right.
You don't want them afraid to call you.
Right. Period. But I don't want somebody calling me because I failed to do the best I could, like I would for my own child.
Right.
So that it really resonated with me, and then the whole style is like, yeah, I kind of do sound like a mom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's where that came from, and I've embraced it because when you hit your early 50s, you just go with it.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know what it is about when I hit 50. I know my body doesn't feel so much energized, but I feel like my career is like re-energized because we have to pivot and change the way we do. I feel like I had to pivot and change the way I do things a little bit because I am older. I have to appeal, I have to be a trust advisor and appeal to more of a larger group now. So I don't know. You felt like you had to pivot?
I don't. Oh. I believe that I just got to a point of complete confidence. Mm-hmm. And I'm also not as anxious and stressed out about the end results that I was in my younger career. I think we've touched on this. This is going on 23 years for me now.
Yes.
And so it just happened to line up.
2022 is when you started.
Yeah, 2002. 2022.
Oh, that's 2022. 2002. I was. I looked up. I stopped.
Yeah, you gotta stop me. So recognizing that not everything's an emergency, like a mom. Recognizing that some things have to be pre-planned and pre-gamed, like a mom. Filling your bag, which is like your calendar or your the things that, like your diaper bag. You got to fill all these things and be ready for the game. So I just have so much less stress that I feel like I can do a better job for my client. Some of that came with age, and some of that came with experience.
Right, and I think that's when I say pivot, that's what I mean. We instead of doing the, instead of going nuts or not nuts, but instead of
just worry.
Yes.
You're just like, it'll work out.
We've got this. We've got this, but it helps to build the business and balance it a little bit differently as well.
Absolutely.
So, and I actually enjoy my career more now. I like going to work now, and I try to have a schedule. I'm not really sure how realtors do it. I actually don't know how you guys do it at all because I would be stressed. But
I don't know how I can sell and share paper. Because you sell and share paper, which is amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
for me, it's the joy of that tangible item.
So, but I feel like we're more even keeled now, because before it was like, but I feel like we do better business now. It's quality.
I do. I heard a study through the coaching program that I was in this year, and that the fastest rising group of consumers for homes are millennial women. But the fastest leaderships are Gen X women.
That's us.
That is us. That is us, because we understand the patriarchal way of doing things, because that was our dad, maybe even our husbands. And we understand how the younger group needs to be communicated to, because that's our children.
Right.
So we're kind of in this, we're that middle oil. And we're also the ones that were latchkey kids and had to do everything figured out ourselves anyway. So
because our parents were. I think we're probably the first group where both parents actually worked.
We're gone.
Yeah, they were gone, and we had to.
And there was no hover parenting either. They did not know where you were.
I know.
I think they cared. I don't want to say they didn't care, but they had no idea where you were.
They didn't worry.
They didn't worry.
They trusted us.
Oh, my mother should have never trusted me.
You're someone who's grounded in family and community. How do you maintain that authenticity? And what feedback do you get from your clients about your down-to-earth approach? And I know you probably have some of that, because we talked about it.
It's interesting, because I absolutely think that the glamorous, gorgeous realtor has their clientele. And as much as I want to be that on the outside, it doesn't match my insides. So I've come to recognize that a well-balanced, put together professional is just as appreciated as somebody who spends a lot of time on their hair and their nails and their makeup and their clothing, because the reality is they're not buying all of that. They're buying my intellect. And so when I started to recognize that I didn't have to put on this wrapping paper to have people appreciate me, that if I could bring to the table, the wealth of knowledge, the experience of, knowing how to navigate a pitfall, that was far more valuable than the package that showed up at the office. So I do believe that you should mirror and mimic the people that you're working with. So of course, if you're working with somebody in a 7, 8, 900,000 plus price range, you obviously shouldn't show up in dirty flip-flops and a wife beater.
Right.
And exactly. And that's just common courtesy.
Me checking the front of my sweatshirt.
You look fine. That's common courtesy. That's just a respect for your client. But I've also come to realize that we're in a different day of professionalism. That professionalism can come with a well put together outfit that didn't have to cost a whole lot, clean and smiling. So I feel that my approach with most of my clients is received because they don't feel as if I am a salesperson trying to push them into a transaction. They typically feel that I am the friend, the girl next door, person that they can build trust and authenticity with quickly.
Did you ever have a job where you had to wear a suit? Or
No,
anything like that? Oh,
no, honey, I grew up
you're
on the
lucky.
ground. I was ground floor. I've done so many of those crazy odd jobs that I've never had to jazz it up. I think in the beginning of my career, I felt that there was this persona of what a real estate agent should look like. And of course, I did my best to mirror that, but I was never comfortable in my own skin. And I feel like if you are not comfortable in your own skin, then you're really not excelling at what you're doing. And that's when I came to realize, you know, it's okay to wear clean Nike tennis shoes, ripped up jeans, not terribly ripped up, but trendy, put a little bit of makeup on, you know, add a piece of jewelry.
I mean, sometimes you're traipsing through people's yards too.
Right. So the Cosmopolitan Realtor, I absolutely adore, and I would love to be one. But this girl cannot make time to even take nail polish off of her nails for herself, so it just wasn't for me. When I first meet a client, I do tend to be more polished. On closing day, I tend to be a little bit more polished. But throughout the transaction, I want to mirror my client. If they're usually in flip-flops and shorts, then I'm in flip-flops and shorts. Or maybe I'm in capris, just a little, just a touch, either the same or just above. I love this neighborhood.
I do too. That's why I wanted to come back here, because it's turning fall, and
Nice
I love.
and shaded.
Yes, it's established, and it's fall time. Well, the trees really aren't changed very much yet here. So we'll talk about my favorite thing is the military and VA, all those things like that. And you deal a lot with PCSing, which they are moving here. So you've got a lot of experience helping military families transition through PCSing. How does your mom approach help ease the stress for families who are relocating? Any tips for family going through that kind of a move? Because I know we're going to get some VA people on here.
You know, the VA buyer, I took a class called Military Relocation Professional, and in that class,
really?
yes,
Nice.
I didn't keep the designation because, in my opinion, that military client deserves. A lot of times they're coming here, they have a very short amount of time. Clear your schedule for 3 days. If your child is sick, clear your schedule because they're not going to work. You're staying home with them. So I feel like you shift your mindset. You understand that I need to prioritize for this client coming into town. I need to make sure that anything and everything that is coming up is available for them to see as quickly as possible. Their time frame is so compressed. Now, that's great if they're here, but if they're not here, then the next level is doing video tours for them. Thank goodness for the technology that we can use today for that client.
I know.
But say you can't get a good signal, say you can't FaceTime with them through a house, then I believe it is our responsibility to pick the house apart as much as you can. Find everything, every detail that you can visually see that could be an objection if they were physically here, and don't hide anything. Show them the neighbors, show them the drive-in, show them all the sides, focus in on cracks or issues. Really give that client the worst of the house, because the marketing is showing what? The best of the house. And you really want to help them gauge that best decision.
Do you record some of your?
I record all of them. And then, so my process, I record them and then I upload them to my YouTube channel, and I do it as a private link. And I send it to them.
That way they don't.
So it's not, and I don't want to disenfranchise a seller or listing agent. I think that would be horrible. But I do want to do the best I can for my client.
It might be a little bit illegal.
I don't know. It might be illegal. I'm not sure. I just know I wouldn't want somebody doing that to me. So it's an ethical thing. So I upload it to a private channel just for them. So then we can, talk about it and go through it. But I think when somebody's doing a PCS, we need to be extremely aware that their anxiety is probably off the charts if they've never been here. We need to ask probably 10 times more questions identifying concerns and fears that they might not even have, asking about silly things like, what size bedroom do you have now? I'll measure the bedroom since you're not here to see how big it is. Because they don't know if their furniture is going to fit.
Mhm.
So getting all of those little nuances is extremely critical for making them calm during the process. And I think just like a mom, you know, you don't want your teenager to come home after you've cleaned their room screaming because they can't find anything. Like, you
Right?
got to kind of let them see the whole picture. So I just feel like it avoids chaos or frustration when they get here and finally get to see the
Mhm.
home that you ultimately kind of picked for them. I don't want to be sitting on pins and needles wondering, oh my gosh, are they
I
going to be
know.
upset?
But I do want to talk about your coffee with creamer. So you're known for coffee with creamer. I know that's your Instagram name too.
That is.
So they're coffee with creamer meetups and with other real estate professionals.
Or
And
anybody.
yeah. Oh yeah, because you kind of put it out there like, hey, let's just meet up,
Mhm.
period, in the story, but it probably ends up being real estate people.
Yeah.
So how do these conversations help you grow, and what's the best piece of advice you've gained from these gatherings?
That is a really good question. So Coffee with Creamer started during COVID. And I had just about enough being stuck in a office or my home office and not being able to talk with people. So the beginning of it, actually, Marty, was a Bible study.
Oh,
I had decided that my mental status was going so crazy that I just needed support and I needed just a good network of wholesome attitudes and, you know, forward thought and hope. And it was just
because
so,
everybody was so
everything was
negative.
so negative and it was hard. It was, you know, nobody knew what was going on. So that started on Wednesdays, and the amazing admin assistant that I have, Natalie, said, well, why don't we pick that as a work day? I'll come and sit with you, because we weren't in the same office anymore. We were both working from home. And then we changed it to Thursdays, and we had started saying Thirsty Thursdays, but I really think Coffee with Creamer, that's gorgeous.
Wow.
I'm sorry, guys. I really think Coffee with Creamer just stuck more. So I put it out that we visit coffee shops, and now we were only doing Wegmans because Wegmans was pretty new in the area, and we thought that'd be kind of cool.
And it's huge in there.
It's huge in Wegmans. They have the burger bar. But then we decided, you know, not everybody lives in town center.
Right.
And we have been through Portsmouth, Hampton, Suffolk, Chesapeake, we go all over looking at small mom and pop coffee shops for an opportunity to, one, talk about the coffee shops, which I think is always nice to support small businesses, and then two, maybe introduce people who hadn't been to them. So the people that come has been rather a big variety. So agents will come because we collaborate and talk about what's going on in the market. What are you seeing in your offers? How are you negotiating? How are you? That's gorgeous.
I know.
How are you getting things through? What does your market time look like? So while we have all those statistics, sometimes it's nice to hear from a breathing person what is going on in their real estate practice, so that we can kind of gauge the temperature. And then sometimes I have past clients come. I've actually been able to pick up buyers and sellers because that was the best time that they could meet for a buyer's consultation. So they would come. And then sometimes it's just me, which is fine. Sometimes I just sit there and work. So the value that I get, we will not meet people sitting in our office. No. We have no opportunity to politely smile and start a conversation with somebody. We have no opportunity to, you know, place our marketing out where somebody might ask a question. So the value I get is just literally, if you're going to catch fish, you got to put a pole in the water.
Oh, I like it.
And I feel like the coffee shop allows me to do a couple of those things. Not to mention, have you ever had somebody say, hey, can I pick your brain? Because maybe you know something. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? You absolutely can. Here's the date and time.
Yeah. So I know you do a lot of like, you grow your own food. I always see you like baking bread, and you're all about like don't buy bread, and you have all these like natural recipes. So my first thing is you're all about great ones. I have a two-part question for you. So you're all about great recipes, whether in the kitchen and in real estate. First, what is your favorite recipe to cook? And then second, what is your secret recipe for a smooth and successful home sale or purchase?
So when it comes to cooking, I like to multitask cooking. Now, I know in real estate we're told to focus on the one thing, but I have an ADD, ADH, all the ADDs. Like I just can't.
I have all the attention deficit.
Yes.
Even if you didn't.
So when I cook, there's a lot of times I pre-think. And so like the other day, I rotisserie 2 chickens. I broke them down. I took all the bones. I then skinned it. I made bone broth so that I could have multiple different chicken recipes prepared and ready. So I don't really have a favorite recipe as much as I have a favorite process. Because if I pre-game a lot of this on softball nights, volleyball nights, have to work late nights, I don't want to have to go and feed my family fast food. I want to have the meat already cooked, and all you have to do is throw it together. It's really important to me to try to cook as whole food as I can. I wish that I could do everything organic. I wish I could be like the perfect nutritionist. My compromise is cook whole from home as much as you can. So
it's also cheaper too.
It is cheaper. Well, I don't know. I'm going to tell you what. 2 pounds of organic chicken or organic like rotisserie chicken, 2.5 pounds. That was $30 still. Ow. $2.79. Look, I got it down. $2.79 a pound. Best price for organic chicken. 2 chickens. By the time I've cut all the bones, the skin, and I had just chicken left, it was about 2.5 pounds. That was $30 worth of chicken. Like 2 chickens. They were like $13 or $15 each. This is why I like to multitask with that. So now I have broken it down to about 5 different meals.
Make
multiple meals. So now let's talk about my recipe
for a
successful real estate transaction.
I like that. My recipe.
Our role, probably like yours too, is an educator. We don't sell anything. We don't push people. We educate them on the pros, cons, and options that they have so that we can figure out what they feel is best for them.
Let me be clear though.
Yeah.
Let me be clear.
Oh, crystal clear.
We are educators. We are trusted advisors.
Yes.
We are not the fly by night, the people who come in and they do the mass marketing. We are
we're anchors.
Yeah.
And
personable.
More personable and anchors, because it's so important that when you're working with somebody that they truly believe that all the advice you're giving them. Oh, look at that huge house.
Oh, it's like a bridge.
That is gorgeous.
Like a bridge.
They need to really feel and value and believe that the advice that you're giving them is the advice that you would use for yourself and that you would give to your own family. So my recipe for real estate success, and I can proudly say, Marty, it has been so few deals that have ever fallen apart on me in my 23 years.
Nice.
And I think it's because we do a lot of pregame. We do a lot of that upfront conversations, expectations, pros and cons, talking a lot about what the outcome is that they want, what their goals are, how do they want to achieve them, what is it that they can afford. I don't ever do your job. There are some agents that will do your job and then send them to 15 other lenders, and they'll send them to 10 other home shopping companies. I don't do your job, just like I wouldn't expect you to do mine.
No.
What I do for them, though, is I tell them, here's all the questions that you should ask your lender.
That's a good, I like that.
Because I don't have those answers. Oh, I think I might have hit my thing. I don't have your answers, but I can tell them all the questions that they can use in order to identify what product that they might want you to focus on, or what they've heard in the market, so that they don't feel they've left something on the table and they can get clarity. So recipe, in a sense of, everybody gets a buyer's consultation. I don't care if I've known you for years. I have taken my own daughter and sat her and her husband down and said, okay, we need to have a buyer's consultation, review the paperwork, understand what this means. I can only save you but so much. Once you've made these choices, I can't get you out of it.
Right.
So I think that we just need to slow down. Another recipe that I'm reenacting, we'll call it, stop using click, click, click for everything. Go face to face, belly to belly, and talk to your client instead of just assuming that they've read everything. Who's going to read a 16-page contract in 42 seconds?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's realistic. It's not always realistic for us, but I think for agents, I think it's like that's
well, you can take
essential.
a 16-page contract and break it down into about 6 parts and say, okay, when you get to here, you're done, you're locked in.
Right.
That's what most people want to know is when is the point of no return and I'm going to lose money or get sued.
Yeah.
That's usually where their middle is. And so whenever I have a client sign a document, the vast majority of time I will bullet point all of the areas that I know are key parts to that so that they can get a recap. But I always say, please read these areas before you sign. And I point out those areas. Some real estate terms are boilerplate. You're not changing them.
The disclosures. That's why I point out places. I do the same thing. I'm like, here's the highlights of a loan worksheet or the closing disclosure or the loan, the initial disclosure. Yeah. Here's the highlights you're looking for. All that middle stuff is going to fluctuate during the process. So.
Well, my disclosure, we will go over them, but I say to them, look, somebody got sued. And so they said, hey, by the way, this created a lawsuit at one point. It might be important to you. And I would say the vast majority of the things in the disclosures are only relevant to, 20%, but because it was a big issue at what, like EFIS disclosures,
right,
or Chinese drywall disclosures. Chinese drywall's been gone, but they
still
don't have
do that anymore, right?
Right. But there's certain things, and I usually say it's because somebody got sued, and so therefore they need to add that to, hey, we told you. And then I also expose them like, this is going to answer questions you had, and it's going to offer you more questions that you didn't know you had.
You didn't know what you didn't.
You didn't know what you didn't know, and now you like, oh, I hadn't thought about that, but now that I did, I have a question. So, but yeah, I think pre-gaming and lots of conversation, face to face, belly to belly, is the most important thing in this job.
Now, with your military clients, do you use Zoom and stuff like that a lot?
Yes,
you do.
If I can't get in front of them, especially if they are virtual shoppers and I have to do video, I think it's really important that your client can see your face, hear you, your body language. And so, yes, I will do Zoom or FaceTime for that first appointment. We'll send them everything and then we'll go over it together on Zoom. But I've also learned in the very beginning of my career, I had a $1 million buyer and I was so excited. And I skipped all of my steps and went straight to shopping.
Oh, oops.
Oh, yes. Only
That's
to find out that there was a lot of lawsuit cuckoo-ness behind that buyer. And they never signed anything. They never committed to anything. And I found out later that they were lawsuit happy. So I am very grateful that I experienced that without a repercussion. And it made me say, I will no longer spend, 10 hours touring homes for somebody that doesn't value enough to sign my employment contract.
Right. You get so excited because you're
like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make all this money.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, and then sometimes it can be a little intimidating too. So you kind of like throw some of you're like, oh my god, I just threw all my stuff out the window.
If you think about, and I hate to say it this way, I thought more about my money.
Yeah.
Than I did about the client. Because I was so excited to make that money. And I didn't really focus on the client. And so I feel like that was a good lesson for me to understand is, well, wait a minute, if you really care about the client, if your fiduciary is to the client, then you will set them up for success, which then in turn gives you the success you want.
Right, and which will bring you more in the long run. But yeah, when I guess that's something that happens when you're new. You want to grab onto everybody and just like hold on to it and just.
Well, the opportunity is so amazing, and you just get so excited. But the old timers, they know.
Yeah, you sit back and you can see the big picture now instead of that immediate. What is it? The immediate satisfaction or immediate gratification. So, and then you know that you just remain calm.
It's interesting because an experienced client with money appreciates that. And if that experienced client with money will not afford you the opportunity to do your job correctly, you probably weren't going to sell them a house.
Right. That's true.
You probably weren't going to get to the end of the rainbow.
I mean, and not every client is for you. I've learned. That's one of the things that I've learned is not every client is for me. Not every referral partner is for me, and that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. They can go business. Yeah, they can go out and be successful somewhere else, or they can go get their mortgage somewhere else with somebody that they get along with better. I mean, of course, I want to do them all. I want to do them all, but can I? No, I can't do them all.
Right.
You couldn't take every buyer.
What do you mean?
You've been working sun up, sun down. That's a lot of miles in your car. You're gonna have to. Yeah. Well, you wouldn't even be able to get an electric one.
I've learned over the years, over my 2 decades, that money is only part of the equation of happiness. Buying back your life, having a life budget, knowing how much work is necessary to maintain a balance of work-life happiness.
Knowing what you need to live off of, and then you can get there and then move forward.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm using my steering wheel pointing.
That's the ASMR.
I do silly stuff on TikTok. I don't do anything professional on there. My company puts professional stuff, but I do a lot of silly stuff on there. But
well, I love this idea. You do an open house, right? Maybe you partner with somebody, y'all do an open house, and 3 people come in, and you're like, yes, we met 3 people today. You do a video and you get 3 views, and you're so upset.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute.
But it was better. It's actually better that you had the 3 people come in your open house, because that's 3 people you actually had a real conversation with, a chance to build that relationship with. Yes. And so in our industry, and this is just extra, but
this is the extended version.
There's a loan officer that is in our industry, not in our area, but in my coaching. They shot some TikTok videos, and they had like overwhelming success with getting leads in. And
there's a couple agents local that do really well.
But guess what? Those leads were not. They're not qualified.
Oh,
leads.
Right.
So you're spending hours upon hours upon hours calling these people. I don't know the full story, but from what I understand, it is quality versus quantity sometimes.
Yes.
You'd rather have the quality.
And that's the ticket right there, Marty. If you're spending money on quantity of opportunity, you are most likely spending quantity of time converting them. I would rather spend quality money and quality time. So I don't purchase like Zillow or Trulia or Realtor.com leads.
No.
If I'm going to spend $500 to $700 a month, I'm going to take my clients out to dinner or to lunch or drive by and bring them gifts. I'm going to spend that money where it really, really matters and building and nurturing those relationships rather than thousands of dollars trying to convert people who could care less about me.
I spend a lot of time contacting my database. And that's one thing I learned, because staying up with my database has made a huge difference. And so if I have somebody in my database, I'm able to, go back to them and say, hey, how you doing? What's going on? What's new? You got any questions? Do you know anybody else that's want to buy a home? That kind of thing too.
Right. Your database is your massive pipeline funnel. She's so sweet. Yeah, it's your lifeline. I massage my contacts daily. We're actually getting ready to host drinks in the driveway at my house. A food truck will be there. And we'll
How
have
cool
a
is
live
that?
band. Yes.
Is that so? That's your client appreciation thing?
And my community too.
Oh.
I use it to network my actual neighborhood. This is the third time we've done it.
You don't need
My
to really
husband, my husband
farm.
plays a band. He plays in a church band, but they love to play regular
Yeah,
music.
regular music.
So we do it at my house. It's called Drinks in the Driveway.
I love that idea.
And because your food truck is in your driveway, there's no catering permits.
That's brilliant.
You don't have to worry about it.
So this is a maiden voyage for the mics. So this is also the first episode that I'm actually giving away a t-shirt. Yay! So this t-shirt here, now that you have survived riding in cars with real estate, when you walk around, people can scan it and it'll actually take them to the link. So now that you have this t-shirt, this will increase your buyers that come to you.
This is my open house t-shirt.
They'll be more attracted to you now.
Yes.
So you will find just random people will come up to you, want to buy a house, and they will have better qualified credit scores and they will have higher purchase prices. So there you go. That's what you get with that t-shirt. It almost always guarantees it. Every time I get somebody else in here, it's like gets better and better and better every time we do this. So I'm truly honored that you picked me, that you decided to love you, because I'm a little silly. But I like your approach to real estate. I did like the first time I met you, we hit it off. I like that we are, the same age and kind of have some of the same thought processes as well. I think we align pretty good. And I really appreciate you joining me and going on the ride. That was a really nice ride. I really, that was actually kind of relaxing too.
Yes.
Like a nice break during the day. I'll have to remember that. So, if you want to catch Alison and her Coffee with Creamer, you can just look her up on Facebook, Alison Creamer and Co. If you want to look her up, ask her some questions, pick her brain about real estate, go look for her. She will treat you like a mom because she sells like a mother. So when you just look her up, and then when you're done with that, you need to go over, check out Riding in Cars with Real Estate. You need to like it and you need to subscribe to the page and all the other things that go with it too. But I will catch you next time. And until then, keep on cruising with real estate. Bye.